Imagine a divorce so scandalous, so explosive, and so utterly devastating that it would go down as the most infamous in Hollywood history. We're talking about the disastrous union of actress Rita Hayworth and director Orson Welles, a marriage that unraveled in a storm of accusations, including domestic abuse, infidelity, and even claims of satanic rituals. But their turbulent split was just the beginning. Hollywood's golden age was filled with messy, dramatic, and often shocking divorces that shattered reputations and left fans in disbelief. In this video, we'll delve into the most notorious breakups of old Hollywood, uncovering the secrets, lies, and heartbreak hidden beneath the glitz and glamour of Tinseltown.
He'll kill me!
Now you help me to prove that he was responsible for this, and I'll put him where he won't kill anybody.
You don't know what he's like!
Humphrey Bogart and Mayo Methot. A love story. Fueled by passion and destruction, behind the dazzling facade of old Hollywood, the marriage of Humphrey Bogart and Mayo Methot was anything but glamorous. Their fiery romance was marred by explosive fights, vicious accusations, and a cycle of love and destruction that earned them the ominous nickname, the Battling Bogarts. Bogart was drawn to Methot's sharp wit, but their laughter was often drowned out by the sound of shattering glass and furious screams. Their home, Sluggy Hollow, became a battleground where their legendary arguments echoed through the halls. Their violent clashes reached shocking extremes. Methot once stabbed Bogart in the shoulder, leaving him bleeding and battered. On another occasion, they drunkenly attacked each other, their rage fueled by whiskey. Actress Gloria Stewart even recalled a chilling dinner party where Methot, in a jealous fury, brandished a gun and threatened to shoot Bogart. Their tumultuous relationship took a devastating turn in 1944 when Bogart met Lauren Bacall on a movie set. Enchanted by her youthful charm and striking beauty, he quickly fell under her spell. When Methot discovered the affair, her world shattered. Desperate to hold on to their marriage, she and Bogart briefly reconciled, but the damage was irreversible. His heart now belonged to Bacall, and he could no longer resist their undeniable connection. In December 1944, Methot announced that Bogart had left her for good. Their toxic love story had finally reached its tragic conclusion. In 1945, Bogart divorced Methot and married Bacall, leaving behind the chaos of his past. Yet, the scars of his volatile relationship with Methot would remain with him forever. Charlie Chaplin and Lita Grey. Hollywood's scandalous divorce. In 1924, Charlie Chaplin was at the height of his career, a comedic genius adored worldwide. But behind the scenes, his personal life was a storm waiting to erupt. Enter Lita Grey, a 16-year-old actress cast in The Gold Rush. Chaplin, then 35, became romantically involved with her, a relationship already steeped in controversy due to their vast age gap. The situation took a scandalous turn when Lita became pregnant, a crisis in an era when Hollywood's strict moral code left little room for transgressions. To protect his reputation and avoid legal trouble, Chaplin reluctantly married her in a secret ceremony in Mexico. What followed was a disastrous marriage. Chaplin's controlling nature quickly emerged. He dictated Lita's appearance, restricted her interactions, and continued his notorious womanizing. Trapped in a world of scrutiny, the young Lita felt overwhelmed and isolated. Their 3-year union was plagued by bitter fights, emotional manipulation, and accusations of infidelity on both sides. By 1927, Lita had reached her breaking point. She filed for divorce, igniting one of the most scandalous splits in Hollywood history. The courtroom battle exposed shocking details of their marriage. Lita accused Chaplin of extreme cruelty, claiming his violent temper left her terrified, and that he had turned their home into a gilded cage. Chaplin, in turn, was painted as a selfish and manipulative man who valued his image over his family. The revelations were so salacious that the judge ordered court documents sealed to protect public decency. The settlement was just as jaw-dropping. Lita received $600,000, an astronomical sum at the time, making it one of the largest divorce payouts in history. Newspapers dubbed it the divorce of the century, and the public devoured every lurid detail. Though Chaplin eventually recovered professionally, his personal life was forever marked by this notorious scandal. Lita's story revealed the darker side of Chaplin's genius, a tale of power imbalances, shattered trust, and the price of fame. Decades later, their divorce remains one of Hollywood's most infamous, a stark reminder that even legends could not escape the consequences of their personal choices.
Don't laugh. The joke may be on you.
What?
My father...
Debbie Reynolds and Eddie Fisher, Hollywood's most scandalous love triangle. Eddie Fisher didn't just endure one ugly divorce. He had two. The first was with America's sweetheart, Debbie Reynolds, and the second with Hollywood icon Elizabeth Taylor. In the glamorous 1950s, Debbie Reynolds and Eddie Fisher were the ultimate golden couple, celebrated as the perfect love story. Fans adored their seemingly idyllic marriage, but behind the scenes, trouble was brewing, leading to one of the biggest scandals of the decade. The turning point came in 1958 when Elizabeth Taylor's third husband, producer Mike Todd, tragically died in a plane crash. Fisher, a close friend of both Todd and Taylor, stepped in to console the grieving widow. What began as an act of support soon spiraled into a full-fledged affair that shocked the world. Reynolds, who had been one of Taylor's closest friends, suddenly found herself caught in a highly publicized love triangle. The press went into a frenzy. Fisher's betrayal became a national spectacle, with Reynolds cast as the heartbroken wife and Taylor labeled a homewrecker. Once a beloved crooner, Fisher faced intense backlash for abandoning his wife and their two young children for Taylor. After a year of trying to hold her family together, Reynolds filed for divorce in 1959. However, the scandal didn't harm her career. It only made her more beloved. Her popularity skyrocketed, and her movie fees doubled to $250,000 per film. Fisher, on the other hand, saw his once bright star begin to fade. The former TV sensation found himself relegated to nightclub performances and smaller roles, his reputation forever tarnished. What began as Hollywood's perfect romance ended in one of its most infamous betrayals, proving that even in Tinseltown, love and loyalty were never guaranteed. Elizabeth Taylor and Eddie Fisher. A marriage doomed from the start. Fresh off his divorce from Debbie Reynolds, Eddie Fisher wasted no time marrying Elizabeth Taylor in 1959. Their relationship, born out of scandal and grief, fascinated the public, but cracks soon began to show. Passion alone wasn't enough to hold their union together. Taylor's fiery, larger-than-life personality clashed with Fisher's more subdued nature. While she commanded headlines and secured million-dollar movie deals, Fisher struggled to rebuild his career in the aftermath of the scandal. The public never fully accepted their marriage, viewing it as doomed from the start. The breaking point came in 1964 when Taylor, filming Cleopatra, met her co-star Richard Burton. Their electrifying chemistry sparked a torrid affair that overshadowed even her past scandals. Dubbed the love affair of the century, it left Fisher humiliated and sidelined. Soon after, Taylor divorced Fisher to marry Burton, bringing their tumultuous 5-year marriage to an end. Once again, Eddie Fisher found himself at the center of a very public and messy breakup, further damaging his already fading career. Meanwhile, Taylor cemented her legacy as one of Hollywood's most captivating yet controversial figures. Years later, Debbie Reynolds and Elizabeth Taylor reconciled, even laughing about their shared history. But Eddie Fisher's two highly publicized divorces remain a stark reminder of how Hollywood scandals can both make and break lives.
When it stops and the raindrops shine on the leaves in the sun.
Joan Crawford and Franchot tone. A marriage fueled by passion and power. Struggles. Joan Crawford and Franchot Tone seemed like a perfect Hollywood couple, a glamorous actress at the peak of her career, and a sophisticated leading man with theatrical pedigree. But beneath the dazzling facade lay a marriage plagued by control, resentment, and betrayal, ultimately leading to one of old Hollywood's most tumultuous divorces. The two met on the set of Dangerous and married in 1935. Crawford, ever the star, was drawn to Tone's intellect and charm, while he was captivated by her beauty and ambition. However, their union was troubled from the start. Crawford was already a Hollywood powerhouse, while Tone was still carving out his place in the industry. Despite his talent, he struggled to step out of his wife's shadow, a fact that gnawed at his pride. As Crawford's fame soared, rumors of infidelity ran rampant. Known for her fiery personality and hunger for attention, she was linked to various co-stars and industry elites. Meanwhile, Tone grew increasingly bitter, feeling like an accessory to her success rather than an equal partner. The tension between them boiled over into frequent and explosive fights. Behind closed doors, Tone allegedly turned violent, taking out his frustrations in drunken rages. But Crawford, never one to be dominated, fought back, both with cutting words and a steely resolve that only deepened the divide between them. Tone later claimed that Crawford treated him like a mere prop in her career, a trophy husband meant to enhance her image. For Crawford, known for her meticulous control over her public persona, the cracks in their marriage were unacceptable. By 1939, the relationship had unraveled beyond repair. Their divorce, though not as openly scandalous as some, was rife with whispered tales of cruelty, infidelity, and power struggles. The split left lasting scars. Crawford continued her legendary career, but endured a series of turbulent relationships. Tone, though respected as an actor, never fully escaped the shadow of his stormy marriage to one of Hollywood's most formidable women. Their breakup wasn't just another Hollywood divorce. It was a high-stakes battle of ambition and ego, played out under the unrelenting glare of the Golden Age's spotlight. Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks, the rise and fall of Hollywood's first power couple. In the 1920s, Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks were Hollywood royalty, the ultimate power couple whose love story captivated the world. Pickford, America's sweetheart, and Fairbanks, the swashbuckling hero of silent cinema, seemed destined for each other. Yet, behind the glamour and adoration, their marriage was anything but a fairy tale. When they first met, both were already married, Pickford to actor Owen Moore, whose jealousy over her skyrocketing fame led to a troubled union, and Fairbanks to socialite Annabeth Sully. Despite the moral conservatism of the era, their undeniable attraction led to a passionate affair. After divorcing their respective spouses, they wed in 1920, igniting a media frenzy. Their Grand Beverly Hills estate, Pickfair, became a social hub for Hollywood's elite, and together with Charlie Chaplin, they co-founded United Artists, a revolutionary move that gave actors unprecedented control over their films. But behind closed doors, their marriage was far from perfect. Fairbanks struggled under the weight of his larger-than-life image, while Pickford's perfectionism often clashed with his free-spirited nature. As Hollywood transitioned from silent films to talkies, both faced career challenges. Pickford struggled to evolve beyond her youthful roles, and Fairbanks' star power faded as audiences gravitated toward new leading men. As tensions mounted, Fairbanks sought comfort elsewhere, leading to persistent rumors of infidelity. Pickford, though fiercely protective of her public image, was also said to have grown close to other men. Their once thriving romance crumbled under the weight of unmet expectations and personal grievances. In 1936, the couple officially filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. Though the split was amicable on the surface, it marked the end of an era. Hollywood mourned the dissolution of a love story that had once symbolized the pinnacle of romance and success, proving that even the most dazzling partnerships are not immune to the pressures of fame.
He retired. He had already retired.
Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe, a love story of passion and heartbreak. In 1952, baseball legend Joe DiMaggio set his sights on meeting Hollywood's rising star, Marilyn Monroe. At first, Marilyn was skeptical, assuming he might be like other athletes, arrogant and self-absorbed. But their meeting sparked the beginning of a romance that would be both beautiful and tragic. Their relationship was challenging from the start. With Marilyn's growing Hollywood career and Joe frequently on the East Coast, they struggled to balance their love with their demanding lives. Despite their differences, they shocked the world by eloping in January 1954 at San Francisco's City Hall. It was a simple, understated ceremony, Marilyn in a brown suit with a white fur collar, Joe in a plain suit. Since both had been previously married, a traditional church wedding was not an option. Marilyn had always dreamed of having children, though she suffered from endometriosis, a painful condition that made it difficult. But beyond her health struggles, tensions in their marriage quickly surfaced. Joe wanted a traditional wife, while Marilyn's skyrocketing career kept her in the spotlight. His jealousy and controlling nature clashed with her fierce independence, leading to growing rifts between them. Their honeymoon in Japan exposed deeper cracks in their relationship. While in Asia, Marilyn decided to visit U.S. troops in South Korea to perform, which left Joe feeling sidelined. The final blow came during the filming of The 7-Year Itch, when Marilyn's iconic subway grate scene, with her skirt billowing up, captivated fans and photographers. Joe, however, was furious over the attention she received, leading to explosive fights. By October 1954, less than a year after their wedding, Marilyn filed for divorce, citing mental cruelty. Though their marriage was over, their connection never fully faded. Marilyn later married playwright Arthur Miller in 1956, but her struggles continued. By 1961, after battling personal and health issues, she underwent surgery and was later admitted to a psychiatric hospital. During this dark period, it was Joe who came back into her life, offering support and even arranging for her release from the institution. Despite rekindling their friendship, they never reunited romantically. Then, in August 1962, tragedy struck. Marilyn was found dead at just 36 years old from an overdose. The circumstances surrounding her death remain shrouded in mystery, leaving lingering questions. Heartbroken, Joe took charge of her funeral, ensuring a private and dignified service at Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery. For the next 20 years, he had roses delivered to her grave 3 times a week, a final act of devotion to the woman he had never stopped loving.
Good night, Mr. Adams. I had a very nice evening.
So did I. I've never had a better time.
And I enjoyed
Ingrid Bergman and Peter Lindstrom. A scandal that shattered Hollywood's illusions. Ingrid Bergman, the luminous star of Casablanca, seemed to have a life as perfect as the characters she portrayed on screen. Married to Swedish neurosurgeon Peter Lindstrom, she was a devoted mother to their young daughter Pia. However, behind the idyllic facade, cracks in their marriage were growing. The demands of Bergman's skyrocketing career only deepened the emotional distance between them. In 1949, while filming in Italy, Bergman's life took an unexpected and dramatic turn. She met visionary director Roberto Rossellini, a man who embodied everything her husband was not. Passionate, daring, and artistic, Rossellini stirred something in Bergman that she could no longer ignore. Their connection quickly escalated into an affair, one that would soon erupt into one of Hollywood's most infamous scandals. The situation reached a breaking point when Bergman, still married to Lindstrom, became pregnant with Rossellini's child. News of the affair spread like wildfire, tarnishing her once immaculate reputation. Hollywood, which had once embraced her as a symbol of grace and innocence, turned against her. Fans who had adored her performances now vilified her, and the press painted her as the ultimate adulteress. What made the scandal even more explosive was the involvement of the U.S. government. Senator Edwin C. Johnson of Colorado publicly condemned Bergman on the Senate floor, branding her a powerful influence for evil, an unprecedented level of moral scrutiny for an actress. In an era when public figures were expected to uphold conservative values, Bergman's actions were seen as an unforgivable betrayal. Her divorce from Lindstrom in 1950 was just as bitter as the public backlash. A fierce custody battle over their daughter Pia played out in the headlines, with Lindstrom portraying himself as the devoted, wronged husband and Bergman as a woman who had abandoned her family for a selfish romance. The scandal nearly destroyed her career. Exiled from Hollywood, Bergman sought refuge in Europe, marrying Rossellini and giving birth to 3 more children, including twins. But the damage had been done. For years, she was blacklisted from the American film industry, her once bright star overshadowed by controversy. It wasn't until 1956, when she won an Academy Award for Anastasia, that she slowly began to rebuild her career. Though Bergman ultimately reclaimed her status as one of cinema's greatest actresses, the affair and its aftermath left deep scars. It was not just the end of her marriage to Lindstrom, it was a public crucifixion that exposed the unforgiving and judgmental nature of fame. For all her brilliance, Ingrid Bergman paid a steep price for following her heart. Joan Crawford and Douglas Fairbanks Jr., a Hollywood romance doomed by fame. In 1929, the marriage of Joan Crawford and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. was a dazzling spectacle that captured the imagination of the American public. With Crawford's meteoric rise as one of Hollywood's most captivating actresses, and Fairbanks Jr.'s pedigree as the son of silent film royalty, they seemed like the perfect couple. However, behind the glamorous facade, their relationship was a tangled web of love, jealousy, and heartbreak. Crawford's ambition and undeniable screen presence made her one of Hollywood's most sought-after leading ladies, while Fairbanks Jr., though talented, often found himself overshadowed by both his legendary father and his wife's growing stardom. As Crawford's career soared, her increasing popularity, especially among her male co-stars, sparked jealousy in Fairbanks Jr. Rumors of her alleged affairs, particularly with Clark Gable, only added fuel to the fire, further straining their already fragile marriage. The media, ever hungry for scandal, sensationalized their every move. The couple found themselves under relentless scrutiny, with their relationship becoming a favorite subject of Hollywood gossip columns. Despite their efforts to maintain a united front, the cracks in their marriage became impossible to ignore. In 1933, after 4 years of marriage, Crawford and Fairbanks Jr. announced their divorce, sending shockwaves through Hollywood. The press speculated endlessly about the reasons behind their split, with many believing that Crawford's rumored romance with Gable played a decisive role. Surprisingly, despite the bitter circumstances of their divorce, Crawford and Fairbanks Jr. remained on good terms. They continued to cross paths in the industry, and their friendship endured long after their marriage had ended. Their story remains a cautionary tale about the destructive power of fame and the pressures of living under the public eye. Though they appeared to be the embodiment of Hollywood glamour, their relationship ultimately couldn't withstand the relentless scrutiny and expectations that came with it.
He kept a close eye on Sinatra, but he was never charged criminally for his mob-related activities.
Ava Gardner and Frank Sinatra. A love affair marked by passion and turmoil. Ava Gardner, the stunning Hollywood actress, and Frank Sinatra, the charismatic crooner, embarked on a passionate yet tumultuous journey when they married in 1951. Their union was scandalous from the start, with Sinatra leaving his wife, Nancy, for the beautiful Gardner. The early days of their relationship were filled with intense romance and excitement. Gardner, with her sultry voice and captivating beauty, quickly captured Sinatra's heart, and he was smitten. However, their love was far from easy. Sinatra's divorce from Nancy was still fresh, and the gossip columns were filled with stories of his new romance with Gardner. As their marriage continued, the cracks began to appear. Sinatra's possessiveness and jealousy often led to explosive arguments, with Gardner's fiery temper matching his own. Their fights became legendary, with neighbors reporting screams, shattered glass, and even physical altercations. Infidelity played a major role in their troubled marriage. Sinatra's numerous affairs with other women, including actresses and showgirls, were well documented in the press. Gardner, too, was accused of affairs with other men, including actors and musicians. Their public outbursts and constant bickering made their marriage a fixture in the gossip columns, with the media reveling in their drama and the public eagerly devouring every juicy detail. Despite their efforts to keep their problems private, their marriage became a very public spectacle. In 1957, after 6 years of turmoil, Gardner and Sinatra decided to call it quits. Their divorce was messy, with both parties trading insults and accusations in the press. The final straw came when Gardner suffered a miscarriage, which she blamed on Sinatra's physical abuse. Sinatra, on the other hand, accused Gardner of being unfaithful and neglecting her duties as a wife. The arguments reached a boiling point, and they eventually decided to part ways. Their divorce was finalized in 1957, with Gardner citing mental cruelty as the reason for the split. Sinatra, however, claimed that Gardner was cold and unresponsive in their marriage. Despite their tumultuous relationship, Gardner and Sinatra remained friends until her death in 1990. Sinatra passed away in 1998, but their legendary love affair continues to fascinate fans to this day.
Object of the visit, to attend the premiere of a film of his. Audrey was born in...
Audrey Hepburn and Mel Ferrer. A tale of love, loss, and deceit. In the dazzling world of 1950s Hollywood, a chance encounter between Audrey Hepburn and Mel Ferrer sparked a whirlwind romance that captivated fans worldwide. However, behind the glamorous facade, their marriage became a complex tale of love, loss, and deceit. In 1953, Hepburn, just 24 years old, had shot to stardom with her iconic role in Roman Holiday. Ferrer, an actor and director 12 years her senior, was twice divorced and a father of 4. Their meeting at a party celebrating the British premiere of Roman Holiday marked the beginning of an all-consuming love affair. Their romance blossomed further in 1954, with the couple starring together on Broadway. Their undeniable chemistry on and off stage solidified their bond, and on September 25, 1954, they married in a private ceremony in Switzerland, shielding their union from the prying eyes of the public. Yet, their happiness was short-lived. Hepburn's desire for motherhood was met with heartbreak after a series of devastating miscarriages. In 1955, she suffered her first miscarriage, followed by another in 1959, after a tragic fall from a horse while filming The Unforgiven. 2 more miscarriages in 1965 and 1967 further added to the sorrow that marked her personal life. Amidst the grief, there were moments of joy. In 1960, Hepburn gave birth to their beloved son, Sean Hepburn Ferrer. But even this blessing couldn't salvage their troubled marriage. Ferrer's jealousy and controlling behavior had long been a source of tension, with Hepburn's mother famously branding him a frog-faced delinquent with spindly legs. As the years went by, their marriage became increasingly strained, with both parties engaging in extramarital affairs. Hepburn had a secret romance with William Holden, her co-star in Sabrina, while Ferrer's numerous infidelities further eroded the foundations of their relationship. By the late 1960s, Hepburn realized that her 14-year marriage to Ferrer had reached its breaking point. The fairy tale had ended, and the reality of their troubled union could no longer be ignored. In November 1968, they announced their divorce, marking the end of an era for Hollywood's golden couple. Although Hepburn eventually found love again, the scars of her tumultuous relationship with Ferrer would remain etched in her memory forever.
Police don't like you?
Well, they never put me in jail in America.
Rita Hayworth and Orson Welles. Love, ambition, and heartbreak. Rita Hayworth and Orson Welles' marriage, which began in 1943, was a union between 2 talented and charismatic individuals who seemed destined for happiness. Yet, beneath the glamour of their Hollywood life, their relationship became a complex web of love, ambition, and ultimately heartbreak. Hayworth, the stunning actress and dancer, had risen to fame with her captivating performances in films like CoverGirl and Gilda. Welles, the brilliant actor and director, had already made a name for himself with his groundbreaking film Citizen Kane. Together, they were the epitome of Hollywood royalty, and their marriage was celebrated as one of Tinseltown's most glamorous unions. However, their relationship was far from perfect. Welles's intense focus on his work often left Hayworth feeling neglected and unappreciated. Her longing for attention and affection clashed with his absorbed and often distant nature, creating tension in their marriage. Their differing personalities and lifestyles also took a toll. Hayworth, a free-spirited and vivacious woman, felt stifled by Welles's more serious and introspective demeanor. The cracks in their marriage deepened in 1946, when Hayworth discovered Welles's infidelity. The betrayal hurt deeply, and her trust in him was irreparably damaged. Despite attempts to mend their relationship, the damage was done. In 1947, Hayworth filed for divorce, citing Welles's lack of attention and their incompatible lifestyles as the reasons for the split. The divorce became a media sensation, with the press consuming every detail of the troubled marriage. Fans and friends were shocked and saddened by the end of one of Hollywood's most beloved couples, mourning the loss of a union that had once seemed so full of promise and passion. Ultimately, Hayworth and Welles's marriage served as a tragic reminder that even the most glamorous and seemingly perfect relationships can be fragile. Despite their love for each other, they couldn't overcome their differences and make their marriage work. Unfortunately, Hayworth's relationship struggles didn't end there. She would later go through another divorce, one that became infamous as the ugliest in Hollywood history. Rita Hayworth and Prince Ali Khan. A clash of worlds. Rita Hayworth's romance with Prince Ali Khan began in 1948, shortly after her divorce from Orson Welles. Hayworth, still recovering from her previous marriage, met Ali Khan, the charming son of Aga Khan III. Ali was well known for his wealth, charisma, and notorious reputation as a womanizer. Despite warnings from friends, Rita was drawn to his attention and the allure of a fairy tale life. The couple married in 1949, with Hayworth giving up her film career to immerse herself in European aristocracy. However, their marriage quickly became fraught with challenges. Ali Khan's extravagant lifestyle and rumored infidelities clashed with Rita's desire for stability and a family life. The birth of their daughter, Yasmin, in 1949 brought some joy, but it was not enough to mend the growing rift between them. Ali's reputation as a womanizer fueled Rita's insecurities, while she struggled to adapt to the strict expectations of royal life. By 1951, their marriage was in public decline. Rita grew increasingly unhappy, feeling isolated and betrayed. She accused Ali of infidelity and neglect, while he dismissed her as emotionally unstable and unfit for the demands of their social circle. Their public fights escalated, and by 1953, they announced their bitter divorce. The media frenzy around their split was intense, but the real drama occurred during the custody battle for their daughter. Rita accused Ali of plotting to take Yasmin to Europe, raising her far from her mother. The legal battle was vicious, with both sides airing grievances in court. Ultimately, Hayworth won custody, but the ordeal left her emotionally drained and shaken. Rita returned to Hollywood in an attempt to rebuild her career, but the scars of her tumultuous marriage remained. The divorce shattered her dream of a royal life, cementing her image as a tragic figure, a screen goddess whose personal life was marred by heartbreak and betrayal. The marriage between Rita Hayworth and Prince Ali Khan was a clash of two worlds, the glamorous fantasy of Hollywood and the rigid traditions of European royalty. In the end, neither world could sustain their love,